All right, during this video, we're going to show you the three-step system to how I've made millions of dollars selling Microsoft Word files on Amazon's Kindle platform, with 90% of the work being done for you. My name is Ty Cohen, and I actually kind of stumbled upon Kindle publishing a few years ago, and since then I've never looked back. It's been a way for me to create this ultimate lifestyle. It's been a way for me to just have more freedom than normal. It's been a way for me to just be able to spend more time with my wife and my children, and I want to show you how I've done this in just a few simple months and have been able to take this business that I was totally new to and create something that I've been able to use for years and years and years, as well as teach to people across the planet. Right? So, in fact, this has totally changed not only my life, but the lives of thousands of others as well, and I want you to be next. So now, here's a testimonial from one of my students, Brian. Brian is actually up in Pennsylvania. He sent me this text one morning to say that he's now making $5,000 a month using the exact same system that you're going to be seeing here in just a few moments. So he says, Ty, I'm now at the $5,000 a month level. My goal is to get to $10,000 a month within the next couple of months, okay? So now that's Brian. Here's one of my prize students. This is Darren DeVry. Darren is actually from Australia, Perth, Australia to be exact, and he says, Ty, over the last year, I've continued to follow the Kindle cash flow system, and I'm now doing $20,000 per month in sales. So he went from zero. As a matter of fact, Darren was actually in the construction industry. So someone that was in the construction industry to now generating $20,000 a month using the exact same steps that you're going to find here. Now, the beautiful part about this is there's no age barriers. There's no location barriers. So Darren is 66 years old as the time of him sending in his testimonial, and he's located in Perth, Australia, okay? So now you might be wondering, what exactly is a Kindle? Well, the Kindle was a cool little device that was initially created by Amazon. It was developed by Amazon a few years ago, and it allows its users to be able to browse the Amazon platform, shop for, and purchase media in all types of formats, right? Now, what we love it for is because it allows your readers to go in and buy content that we're going to be publishing, and I'll show you how you can publish that content during this series here. Now, when we get started, right, I want you to keep in mind that the Kindle platform, because it's not only available in the physical format, it's also available as an app. So what Amazon did was they did something that I think was brilliant, right? They realized that not everyone would be able to go out or have the desire to purchase a Kindle device, the physical device. So they said, let's make an app that can be used on almost any mobile device. So as you can see here on your screen, if you have an iPhone or some type of an Android device, or if you've got a PC, or you've got a desktop device, or if you have a tablet, all right, your users can go in and download the Kindle app onto that device and still go in and shop for and browse for the content that you're going to be selling. Now, the beautiful thing about that is this now opens up the platform, right, the playing field to over 7 billion potential prospects. As of today, GSMA's real-time tracker puts the number of mobile devices at 7.22 billion people. That's 7.22 billion people. There's almost one mobile device, right, for every individual that's on the planet. And soon that number is going to overtake the number of people that we actually have here on the planet. So you're at ground level of what is being called a digital diamond mine. And what I want to do is I want to show you just some of the income that I've made before kind of really taking this series to the next level and really taking it serious. Sometimes we see an opportunity and we don't take it serious, right? We don't really exploit the opportunity for everything that it's worth. And that's where I was when I first started publishing content on Amazon's Kindle platform. So with that said, right, this is one of the first checks that I received. It was in the amount of $2,297. And when I first received this check, I was doing a few other things. So the true potential didn't really, the light bulb didn't go off in my head initially. It didn't go off in my head, and it wasn't until the next month I received another check, and I didn't do anything differently from month to month. So from the prior 30 days, right, to what I'm about to show you now, I did not have to go in and sell any additional content, meaning I didn't have to upload any additional content. I didn't have to create any additional content, but I still saw an increase. As a matter of fact, I saw an increase of 25%. So the next check I received was in the amount of $2,873.13. So when I received this one, the light bulb goes off in my head, and I said, you know what, Ty, there must be something to Kindle publishing. At that point, I started to publish a bit more. So I started to create a few more Word documents and share those on the Kindle publishing platform. The next check that I received was in the amount of $4,462.53. Now, at this point, I'm ecstatic, right? Because this is the most amount of success that I'm having up until this point. I started to get laser focused. I started to do things like test different price points, test different topics, test different niches. And then, you know, as I did that, I slowly published more content, and I gently increased my revenue from month to month. And here, the following month, you see I received a check in the amount of $8,403.84. Now, here's the thing, folks. There's a lot that you can do with this, right? Imagine bringing in a revenue stream that's making you $8,000, almost $10,000 a month here. How would that change? I'll tell you how it changed things for me. It allowed me to vacation more. It allowed me to look on the other side of a menu, right? Instead of looking on the left-hand side, it allowed me to look on the right-hand side. It allowed me to just pursue more of my passions, one of which was, you know, just spending time with my family, spending time with my wife, spending time with my children. So as I continued publishing content on Amazon, right, I now continuously, month to month, see royalties in the amount of $30,000, right? So now, as you can see here on the screen, I've got royalties from the Amazon US site, the Amazon UK site, and the Amazon Canadian site. So now you can publish to one platform but still sell your content on all of Amazon's properties. That's the beautiful thing about this. And here's one thing that I want to know. When you're making money of this type, you don't want to have checks floating around through the mail. So Amazon has what's known as an EFT option, and that's basically an electronic funds transfer option. So they can send your royalties directly, right, from their account over to your bank account, which is what you see here on your screen. Now, how do you do something like this? And most importantly, when you do something like this, how does it change the quality of your life, right? Like, I think we all have things that are very true to us, things that we want to do, things that are already on our list. And unfortunately, a lot of those things become someday things, right? Things that we'll do someday. But when you're generating a steady stream of income, this allows you to do things like put it towards your kids' future. You know, my wife and I, we have 4 children. So we've got 2 children that are currently in university, right? And we have 2 children that are headed towards university. So this helps them to not only be able to be prepared, it helps to ease that burden of knowing how we're going to pay for university, college for them. But most importantly, it allows us to get them involved, right? My 15-year-old son, Tyler, who's over on the sides here, he's part of his business. He actually just released a product that generated him $1,200, just over $1,200 within the last 7 days. He's 15 years old, and one product has generated him just over $1,200 within the last 7 days. Would you use this type of income to pay off your mortgage, folks? Would you use it to buy a house, right? My wife and I were building our dream house. We built our first house 12 years ago. We're now building our second home, our dream home. It's 4 stories, 4 levels, and we're just going nuts with it, right? And guess who's paying for it? Amazon is paying for this. So how would you like to be able to have Amazon not only pay for your mortgage, but pay for your car note, pay for your trips? Would you use this to pay off bills, to get out of debt, to travel the globe, to donate to charities, right? I have something that's known as sickle cell anemia. And what I do is I donate a regular amount to the National Sickle Cell Anemia Association. So it allows me to give back in that sense. Would you be able to give back to your church? Would you be able to just do whatever it is that you want to do when time and finances are not a restriction? The possibilities are endless. They're limitless, right? So you might be wondering, what makes this different, right? Well, that's a great question if you're wondering that. So the thing that makes this different is, number one, it's a real business, one where you partner with Amazon.com, and most importantly, they want you to make sales. Now, why does Amazon want you to make sales? Well, they don't want you to make sales just because they're just great folks, right? They want you to make sales because when you make money, guess what? They make money. And they take a very small percentage of it too. So they give you the lion's share. They give you 70% of the revenue and they keep just 30%. And we'll talk more about that later on. All right. Now, the other thing is you're joining forces with a multi-billion-dollar, globally recognized brand and tapping into a multi-billion person market. Remember we spoke about there being over 7 billion mobile devices out there? Well, Amazon has the Kindle app, right? And the Kindle app connects to all of them, totally opening up the market space, right? So you're partnering with a globally recognized brand. You're partnering with a brand that has access to just a ton of potential customers. And then the third thing is it's a system that is easy to make money with month after month after month after month. So with that said, let's get started. This is where I show you how do you go in and find best-selling topics so that there's no guesswork. So how do you find topics that are going to be home runs right out the gate? And then I also show you how do you take this and within 7 days or less, get your product created and up and running on Amazon so that you're generating sales. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this in an order where it's gonna be super easy for you to follow along, and it's gonna be easy for you to understand the system in a bit more detail. So we're gonna cover 3 steps. So step 1 is going to be finding a best-selling topic to publish, right? So that you go in, and like I said, you're able to hit it right out the park your first tryout. Step 2 is going to be getting your money-making Word document created. So how do you go in and once you have that idea, once you know what it is that you want to publish, how do you go in and get this money-making Word doc created? This is going to be super easy. I'm going to give you 3 different ways to get this done. All right, and then the third step is taking that and then publishing it to Amazon and just really being able to change your life with this entire system. So now let's do this. Let's jump over to one of my favorite sites, and this is a site that I use for research, right? I think that anytime you're marketing online or you're thinking about putting together a product, you should conduct your market research because you want to make sure that there's people that are, number one, that are interested in what you're selling, and then number 2, that are actively voting with their wallet. So it's not just enough for people to be, excited about what it is that you have, but you want them to actively be purchasing. So this is where competition comes in, and this is where my saying of competition is good. As a matter of fact, I love competition. So we're going to take a trip over to Udemy, and that's udemy.com. Okay, so there's 2 sites that I actually like to use when conducting market research, right? So remember, market research is going to be one of the biggest indicators as to if your market is a market that is one that you should be going into it. And if it's one where there's actually some traction, right? Where there's people that are purchasing, there's activity and things like that. So Amazon, of course, is going to be one of those sites. So the way I like to do market research here is I'll go over to Amazon.com. And one thing that I want you to be aware of is Amazon changes like the interface on almost a daily basis. So if it does not exactly look like what you see here on my screen, it will be the same for the most part, all right? Again, it may not look exactly like what you see on my screen because they do change up their interface almost on a consistent, regular, weekly, or daily basis. But first, when you go over to Amazon, you want to check books, right? So here, I'm going to do this research, and I usually start in the book section, and then I'll also do it the same exact research that I'm going to show you here in the Kindle store as well. So we're going to go over to books, and I'm not going to actually do this in the Kindle store because, again, it's done the same exact way. All right, so I'll go to books, and then based off of the topic or the genre that I'm considering publishing my content around, I'll go in and I'll type that in. So let's say I'm considering typing or publishing content around the keto diet. What I'll do is I'll go in and I'll type in keto. Now, I could easily go in and type in keto diet. I can type in keto for beginners. I could type in so many other things, but you want to be as generic as possible with it, right? You want to be as generic as possible with it. So for that reason, you'll only type in 1 to 2 keywords, right? 1, 2, 3 keywords at max, but normally it's going to be 1 or 2. If you're typing in 4 or 5, then you have too many. And the reason why we want to go with as little keywords as possible is because we want as many results as possible to show up. So for example, if I was going in and I'm typing in something like, or I'm considering doing this around with the topic of bicycling, right? Let me make sure I have my spelling right. That is absolutely wrong. Bicycling. All right, I'm just kind of typing bicycling. That's it. Now, again, I'm under books, right? You want to make sure that you're under books as we are here. You can see here. If it was something like dieting, I would just type in dieting. All right, so hopefully you get it. So now I'm going to go back to, let's go back to keto. All right, there we go. So now we're here under keto, right? And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to spend a considerable amount of time just looking at what's here, what's selling, what people are already buying. We're going to do this. And this is where I like to spend, again, a good amount of time because you're going to get some great results here. So one of the things that you do is I'm going to go in and actually log in because we're going to find some of the books that are already selling and we'll review some of these topics. And as we come across them, I want to actually save them. So there's a pretty cool way that you can save them. There's a wish list feature. If I open this up in a new tab, you'll see down here, and again, it might look different by the time you see this video, but you'll see where it says add to wish list, right? If you don't see it there, you can just do like a control F and then just type in something like wish list. Let's see if it shows up. It can show up because it's like the text is actually on the button, but actually list. So let me see. It doesn't say wish list, it says list. Let me see. There's 13 different results, right? I'm not going to go through all of these, but for the most part, it will be up here, add to list. So what you can do is you can go in, you can add that book to your list. Now I have to actually sign in before I can do that. So I'm going to go in and I'll sign in right now. All right, so now I've added that one product to the wish list, right? So now here's what we're going to do. You can actually go in and create custom lists if you wanted to. So I'm going to go back, and you only can do this once you're signed in. So I'm going to go back here. Let me hit refresh on this page. And then I'm going to, if you go back to that drop down, which says add to list, you can create a list here. So I create a list of awesome ideas, right? It could be books to read, right? But mine is going to be awesome ideas because those are ideas that we're going to actually want to kind of model. So now, how do we do that? Let's go back into this first page here. What are we looking for when we start to do our market research here on Amazon? Well, the first thing is you want to look for ideas that have a significant amount of feedback. Now, what do I mean by that? So this book has 2,155 reviews here. This one has 268. This one has over 1,400, right? This one has over 178. I'm looking for books that have at least 25 or more reviews. The more reviews, the better. But my barometer is going to be a starting point of 25 reviews at least and more. Right, so 25 or more when I'm doing this type of research. Now, here's what I want to do as well. So we're now looking at all of these ideas. We're coming through, right? This one's got 2,155. This one has 268. I'm looking at this. I'm going to open that one up. I want to open this one up. This one has 100 recipes. I'll open that one up. All right, and you can continue to do that. We're going to open up as many of these as possible. We just open up a bunch of them, and we're just going to take a look around. All right, the Essential Keto Diet for Beginners, and we're going to start to see trends here. You see this one is for beginners, and there's another one for beginners up here. So that looks like it's something that's kind of a trend right there, right? So keto for beginners, and I can see where that could be very possible. People who are just getting in, they want something that speaks directly to them. So that phrase beginners if you're a beginner, if you're new to the whole idea of keto and dieting in this way, speaks to you. The Easy 5 ingredient ketogenic cookbook, right? That one I like there. It's got 712 reviews. And one thing that I do want to point out that is super, super important to mention is all of your topics won't have hundreds of reviews. Remember, we're good if it has 25 or more. So if you see where the majority of your books only have 25 reviews or 30 or 40, then that's fine. Don't panic. All right, they're not going to all have hundreds of reviews. Keep that in mind. It just so happens that this topic that I just selected does. So we're opening the ones that have more than 25, and we're looking at them there. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go down here to, let me get rid of this. We want to start to look at ideas, right? For Easy 5 ingredient ketogenic diet cookbook. 5 ingredients that kind of appeals to people. It looks kind of simple. So I would probably go in and add this one to my wish list. So I'm going to add that to my awesome ideas wish list, right? And then I'm going to go here. And while you're doing this, the second step is you also want to make sure that the books that you're adding to your wish list have at least 20,000, right? Or less in sales rank. Now, where do you find your sales rank? Your sales rank is down here in the lower left-hand corner. Again, as of the moment that we're on this video, it might change. The position might change at any moment, but for right now, it's here. So we're paying attention to this area right here. All right, and the bestsellers rank here. We're not necessarily paying attention to the subcategories. It's going to be here, right? So this one has a really low sales rank. So sales rank is basically how well a book sells. So anything less than 25,000, 20,000 is a good seller. Anything more than 25,000, 30,000, 50,000 does not sell as often. All right, so this you'll really see something where it has a sales rank of 75, right? That's super, super, super low. Normally you'll see where the sales rank would be in the thousands or the tens of thousands, okay? So that one is definitely good. So that's one that we would want to add to our wish list, which we did already. Here's another one here. This one has 229 customer reviews. So this is the Complete Keto Diet Cookbook for Beginners. This is a cookbook for beginners. So again, we talked about it speaking directly to beginners. The other great thing that this has about it is that it's actually a cookbook. So you're giving beginners recipes. All right, so this is pretty cool. Let's look at what the sales rank is. So this one has a sales rank of 3,507. Again, this is extremely low. Even though it's 3,000, you might think that that's kind of high. You're going to see where most of them are in the tens of thousands. You might see some in the hundreds of thousands. You might see some in the millions. The hundreds of thousands and the millions we're totally going to close out and ignore. We want to be at 25,000, 20,000 or less. All right, so this is a good one though. So we're going to add that one to our list as well. So we'll add that to our list of awesome ideas. Actually added it already. Here's another one. The 5 easy ingredient. Actually, I hit that one already. So here's another one. The Easy Keto Meal Prep, 800 easy and delicious recipes. This one has a whopping 800 recipes, which is insane. All right, 178 customer reviews. If we go down, the sales rank is 290. All right, so this we would actually add as well. Now, again, for my method, this is a lot, right? 800 recipes. I would probably never publish something like that because it's just a lot of work. I'm not into putting that much work into something without knowing if it's going to sell first. So what I would do if I wanted to be this aggressive with it is I would go in and I would publish 20 or 25 recipes, see if that sold. And then if I wanted to follow up and go deeper with it, then I could do that. But you should always be thinking that you want to put as little time and as little money into getting your content created as possible, because remember, you can always go back and add on to it. This is digital content. And then secondly, you want to make sure that it's going to sell first, right? Even though we're doing the market research, we see that there's an audience there. We see that there's a buying audience because there's reviews, there's book sales ranks that we're looking at. We know that people are buying this content. but still, we always want to minimize our exposure as much as possible. Here's another one. Simply Keto, a practical approach to health and weight loss. This one is okay, but there's nothing really that stands out about it to me. So it's got 100 easy low carb recipes that could be appealing, low carb recipes, but again, it's keto, right? Has 1,400 reviews. The sales rank is 152. I would probably add this one to my wish list as well. So we've got all of these. And so let's go into something else, right? Another topic. Keto is pretty popular. So I want to show you something else. Let's look into go into bicycling and see what's here. So again, it would be the same way, right? Books, we've got our one topic, and then we want to see what comes up here. Now, the reason why you see a t-shirt here under books is because this is a sponsored link. These people have paid for placement. So now let's look at words to ride by, thoughts on bicycling. This one has 15 reviews. Remember, we want to be at 25 or more. Climb, conquer hills, 13. I'm not going to even look at these. I'm looking at the number of reviews. So I'm bypassing everything. So boom, the bicycling guide, the bicycling big book of cycling for beginners. This is pretty interesting. Again, beginners, right? So I'm going to open that one up. Old man bicycling across America, 7. I'm not going to pay attention to that. 12. We're going to minimize the amount of time that we spend because we're just looking at the number of reviews here. 94. We can open this one up. I'm not going to read the title yet. I'm looking to save time here. 137. It's all about the bike, the pursuit of happiness on 2 wheels. I can open that one up. 316. I can open that one up. 116. This is awesome right here. This combines cycling and weight loss. So that's pretty cool. And it has 116 reviews. Something like that catches my eye, and I might go in and publish something similar. The Zen and Art of Road Bike Maintenance, the world's best-selling bicycle repair and maintenance guide. This is really interesting. I would not. This is why doing research is so important, because it exposes you to ideas that you would never even think of. I wouldn't think that a book on bicycle maintenance and repair would have 165 reviews. And then there was another one up here, right? Where was it? Here, this one had 316. So it's not just a topic that I would have ever thought of. I'm not a cyclist. And again, sometimes you just come across some really cool ideas just by doing research. So now when I'm in research mode, I'm looking several pages deep. I might go 10 pages, 20 pages deep. I'm just getting ideas that I might use immediately, and then ideas that I may use a week later, a month later, a year later. But I now have them archived because I've saved them under my wish list, all right? So now, Get Fast, a complete guide to gaining speed wherever you ride. This is really cool because it's all about speed, right? So this is something that's pretty niche. You've got a major niche like bicycling, and then you kind of sub-niche and you speak to people who just want to get faster. This is one that I would automatically, instantly kind of go in and add to my list if it meets the criteria first, right? So now let's look at the criteria. What's the sales rank? Boom, 690,000. So this one I would not add to my list because it is not selling. I love the topic, right? It's got reviews, 25 plus, but you can't give it away. All right, so we're going to close out. Here's the thing I want to mention. You don't fall in love with any one topic. You don't want to fall in love with any one topic, right? So now I'm going to continue to go down. We'll look at some of these. 6,800. This one I would add, right? This is the one on repair, so I would add that to my list. Okay. Then we've got, what else is here? Ultimate plan for burning fat and getting fit on a bike. This one is 113, so that one I would not list. And again, there's no falling in love. You go through them. If they have the reviews, then it's fine. If the sales rank number is not there, then we get rid of them. We want reviews of 25 plus and sales rank of 25,000 or less. That one does not have it. All right, so let's see what else we got here. 91. That one does not have it. So now you start this pruning period, right? Where you're going through your list and you're kind of pruning because they don't have the sales rank, right? So now let's see. New Cyclist Handbook. Ride with confidence and avoid common pitfalls. What else do we have? There's not Big Book of Cycling for Women. That one is right on the cuff here, 26, right? So we would continue down our research because we want to get this is yoga now. We're not going into yoga. But every once in a while you can find, right? We'll open that up. You can find topics that, again, you were not doing research under. They just pop up. So here's another one: drive your destiny, create a vision for your life, build better habits for wealth and health. So we're going to open these up because they just happen to cross our path. They have 25 plus reviews, and we want to see what the sales ranks are. Old Man on a Bicycle. This is more of someone's autobiography, it looks like. But again, you could open that one up if you wanted to. Bicycling with Pacific Coast, same with that. If you know, again, this applies for both nonfiction and fiction, so you can definitely open that up if you wanted to. Old Skills. We're going to stay away from recognized names. So this guy is a recognized name, Greg LeMond, so he has an advantage. So because he has a recognized name, he's going to kind of sell more books and organically. So recognized names in the title or as the author, you want to kind of just bypass. Bicycling Science, that's interesting. We're not going to look at that one here. And the reason why is this is, well, actually, let's look it up. I'm seeing where it's presented by it's published by MIT Press, but that doesn't matter. We'll take a look at it here. So now, let's see what we have here. Bicycling Science for MIT Press by MIT Press. Let's look at the sales rank here and see where we're at. This one is 415,000. So we're going to close this out faster than the speed of light. Bicycling Magazine's complete book. I didn't notice that this was Bicycling Magazine's book. So again, that is considered a recognized name, Bicycling Magazine. They're established. They have an audience already. So we're going to close that out. Bicycling the Pacific Coast, 73 customer reviews. What's the sales rank like? 190. We're going to close that out as well. All right, Drive Your Destiny, 66 reviews. This was one of the ones that we kind of stumbled upon. What is the sales rank? 260,000. We're going to close that one out. Yoga Secrets, 25 reviews. Sales rank of 325. So now, the Bicycling Big Book of Cycling for Women, 26. 327. We're going to close that out. New Cyclist Handbook. And this one has, wow, this is a sales rank of 1 million. So that one's definitely not selling. All right, so now we have our wish list. Right, so we can go in and we can look at our wish list here. All right, so let me just put my list. And we can look at everything that we've added so far. All right, so we've got our keto books here. Right, we have our bicycling books here, and we start to now say, okay, which one would make the most sense for us to start with? All right, I normally would start with the ones that have the most reviews first, right? So that's the process. You're going on Amazon, you're going to look at the ones that have reviews of 25 plus. Then after that, you want them to have sales of 25,000 or less for a sales rank. And then once you have your collection here, you want to start with the ones that have the most reviews. So for my keto books here, this one has the most reviews, right? So I would go in and this would be one of the topics that I would start to publish. Then after that, this. Then after that, this. For my bicycling topics, I would first go with this one, right? And then this one. So that's how you do research here on Amazon.com. There's a similar way of doing research over on another one of my favorite sites. I'm going to close out these tabs. And this is Udemy. So Udemy is one of my favorite sites. It's an e-online learning site. If you have not heard of it, it's a site sort of like Amazon that has a ton of just digital courses and digital content on there, right? So you go over to Udemy, U-D-E-M-Y. And the way you're going to do research here is a little bit different. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for courses that have over 1,000 students enrolled in them. So now, there's two ways that you can use Udemy. All right, whether you already know the topic that you want to kind of publish your content under, then you can, if you know that topic, then you can already go in and you can search for it here if it's available. If you don't know the topic, then you can just kind of browse through their different topics that they have, right? Because they have a ton of them here. And then they have actual subtopics. So if you go over here to categories, and let's say if we were looking for bicycling, right? They may not have keto. Let's say, do they have keto? Let's see. They do. All right, so they have keto here. We're going to stick with keto and bicycling. All right, so what I want here is I'm looking for students. I'm going to look for programs that have more than 1,000 students enrolled. So now you're going to find sort of like a couple of courses at the very top, but then you scroll down here and you'll find even more. All right, so just don't forget that you have this section here. So I'll go in and kind of open these up. And you can create a wish list also in Google Docs, and you can kind of keep your links to these in Google Docs if you wanted to. You can also, hold on here, let me. All right, so no, I'm not going to open these all now here, but normally I would open them all up. Again, I love this research process. So now, here's what I'm looking for. I am looking for courses that have more than 1,000 students enrolled and that have 4 stars or more. All right, 4 stars or more. So this one has 1,482 students enrolled. This is exactly what I'm looking for. How to lose weight, keto plus paleo plus intermittent fasting, 2019. So this would be awesome. I would add that to my wish list. You have to actually create an account before you can add it to your wish list, but it's kind of the same process as Amazon. All right, this is a topic that is in demand. All right, so we'll continue looking down. This one has 2,253 students enrolled. Intermittent fasting plus keto, the fastest way to lose weight. So this one, again, this one it's right on the cusp of 4 stars. I like to stay with 4 stars or more. I'm going to X that one out. So here on Udemy, you want that combination of 4 stars or more, 4.0 average rating, and more than 1,000 students. So they should have both. This one does not have 29 students, so I'm closing that one out. So you see how this pruning process takes place here? This one has 4.2, but it only has 950 students. So I'm going to close this one out, right? 4.0, 102 students. I'm closing this one out. 3.8, I'm not even looking at the number of students, right? Now, this one has 4.1, 199, 4.2, 62, 4.3, 528. And the good thing about this is there's a ton of different courses out there, right? So 4.7, only 404 enrolled, 4.1, 577. So I'm going to 30-minute keto, right? I can see why that's appealing. So if you have 60-minute keto or 15-minute keto, 20-minute keto, that could be really appealing. We would go in and model our content that we're going to be selling on Amazon and some of the other sites after that. And I talk about that more in the actual program. Here's another one, 520 as far as the number of students. Crash course, this one has 4.5 rating with 2,388 students enrolled. So now, I've done some research, right, on Amazon. I've got some courses I want to model here on Udemy as well. And that's part of that whole market research process. That's where you get to see, number one, where people are at and if they're buying and like what the interest is, what the feedback is, right? So there you go. That's how we conduct our market research. We then now have this list of topics that we want to consider publishing. And we go in, we narrow them down. So on Udemy, what I would do is once I have my list, and you might have 10, 20 different ideas, right? You might have 5. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with the number of students enrolled first. So this one has 1,400. This one has 5,700. This one has 2,300. I would start with publishing something around this topic first, then this topic, and then this topic, because the demand is in that order, if that makes sense. 5,777, 2,300, and then 1,400. All right. So that's our market research. That's how we find out what people are interested in, and more importantly, what they're buying. So here, this content is sold for $10.99. This is sold for $10.99. This is sold for $10.99. So you've got people that are actually spending here. All right. So let's move on to the next step. So now, step one, right? How do you find a best-selling topic to publish? We looked at Udemy, we looked at Amazon, and I showed you how you can go in and briefly look at the topics that are already selling. And now the secret sauce to that is taking those topics and then going in and creating a spin-off of your own so that you now have a bestseller, because the market's already there, right? People are voting not only with their interests, but they're also voting with their dollars.
How amazing was that? Didn't I tell you? The process is so simple. It's really a matter of you doing it. Now, the question is, are you going to do it? That's what's going to make the difference. So right now, what I want to challenge you to do is there's 2 links below. If you're ready to move forward, if you're at a place where you're saying, Anik, man, let's build this Kindle business. Let's go ahead and start building your passive income per 25-page Word document, $500 a month, then I want you to click the first link below this video. That'll take you to a page that allows you an opportunity right now to enroll in Kindle Cashflow University at a steep discount. Steep. That will go away soon. Now, link number 2 is if you want to talk to us about how we can actually work with you and create an amazing situation where we actually coach you for the next so many months to come to building a 7-figure business. We'll build a step-by-step blueprint business plan that is just for you. Whether it involves Kindle or not, we will literally show you everything about how we build Learn, how I build multiple companies. That's the second link below. You have a free call, a free session you can book with our team to see if you qualify for some of the amazing coaching programs we have here at Learn. So link number 1, you should click right now. Just let's get this over with. All right, join Kindle Cashflow. Let's get in there. Let Ty help you, hold your hands, coach you every step of the way. And link number 2, if you want to schedule a free session with us to talk about the future of your 7-figure business, we want to do that with you. We want to support you through it. We want to see if you qualify for any of our hands-on coaching programs here at Learn. Those are your 2 options. Come on. And now you can also move on to next video where Ty will show you how to outsource 90% of the entire model. All right? Lots of options here. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep going with your education. That's what Learn's here to do. We're the transformational home for entrepreneurs. We want to help you out in every way possible. And remember, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, push it the heck back. You got those 2 links below this video. Click them. I'll see you inside Kindle Cashflow University.